Meanwhile, yesterday, President-elect Donald Trump held an impromptu press conference at Mar-a-Lago, his first since he won in November.
I'm not going to comment on the Putin question, but I will comment on Bibi. We had a very good talk. As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points.
Do you want RFK Jr. to revoke any vaccines?
No, I want him to come back with a report as to what he thinks.
Are you entertaining the idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities?
I don't want to insult you. I just think it's just not something that I would ever answer.
All right, our next guest says this highlights how America has been ill-served for the past 4 years. New York Post columnist Miranda Devine joins us right now. And Miranda, you know, yesterday, during his about an hour-long press conference, Donald Trump pretty much answered every question directly, didn't dodge. He was funny, he was charming, and it was something we haven't seen from the presidential podium for 4 years.
Good morning, Steve. It was really a refreshing change, and I think even the most hostile journalists were grateful for being brought into the loop again. I mean, this is what a president ought to do, and I think we've been like frogs in boiling water a little bit with Joe Biden the last 4 years because he's really been AWOL, and particularly, since his disastrous debate, right. He's been quiet quitting.
Sure. We've got a graphic that shows that when you look at Joe Biden's 4 years versus Donald Trump's 4 years, it's the next graphic there. You can see how many have held press conferences through history. But let's take a look at the next graphic. Donald Trump had 88 news conferences and pretty much answered all the questions. Joe Biden had 37. And Miranda, you know this for a fact, that when Joe Biden would have a press conference, I've got a list with 10 names. I'm not going to ever call on Peter Doocy or Jackie Heinrich ever. And he never, well, invariably Peter and Jackie would yell and they'd get some answers. But this is going to be so refreshing because Donald Trump answers everybody's questions. And there is no stinking list.
Exactly, and he answers substantively. I mean, yesterday he talked about tariffs and TikTok and drones and Iran and, you name it. Any question thrown at him, he had an opinion. He had some, interesting news to break. He was a man, a president in command. He already is the de facto president. And I think Joe Biden made it a sort of one of his tiny little appearances where he just read from the teleprompter. And look, I think the lasting impression of Joe Biden's presidency is his retreating back as reporters desperately fire questions at him that he doesn't want to answer. Donald Trump was the opposite, as you said, genial and informative.
Indeed. Joe Biden's not doing any press conferences because he doesn't want 100 people to say, hey, why'd you lie to us about the Hunter Biden pardon, which you were an expert at.
Yes.
Miranda, thank you very much.